The debt cross has now arrived. Let's talk about it and what strategy can we make out of it. Hi guys and welcome back to another Gab's cryptocurrency video where we trade by data and not by hype. And today, dumating na ang ating inaabangan na debt cross. As you all know guys, we have been mentioning the debt cross for the past few weeks na nga. Sabi ko nga na the debt cross is already inevitable kasi nga we had this big movement to the downside, hence this dense debt cross happening. And from what we know, that cross is a lagging indicator. It tells us of what we know already. But it's also good to look at what can the debt cross do to our movement basing on the historical data. So in this video, we will be talking about the historical data and what strategy can we make of it following the historical data. So now, just to give you a brief overview of what is a debt cross. Historically, pag nagkakaroon ng cross, that would indicate na magkakaroon tayo ng bearish sentiment sa market. And a bearish sentiment would mean the price would more likely to stay at this level or go down for a few weeks or months. So we have seen this one plays out different times in history. You could see that in this 2018 market cycle, makikita din natin siya sa ating 2014 market cycle. In fact, we have been seeing that cross multiple times in history playing out to be a bearish sentiment in the market. So makita mo siya sa 2014 din and sa previous that cross noong 2019 movement. So yeah, now alam natin ang ibig sabihin ng that cross is a bearish sentiment. Let's now try to look at the data. Ano na ba nangyari sa previous death cross? So quick review lang to muna guys before we head into our current data. So if you're going to look at this death cross noong 2019, you will notice na at this area, nagkaroon tayo ng big pump to the upside. So, after this death cross, actually during the death cross, nagkaroon tayo ng pump to the upside. Pero after that, we actually went down after the death cross. So we could play or possibly rule in this possible pump, but in order to have a pump, we should have a bullish divergence happening and dapat yung ating bullish divergence is medyo malakas. Pero ang nangyari ngayon, let's look at our current data. We had the bullish divergence, pero it's not as steep as compared to the previous bullish divergence. At mas maliit itong bullish divergence as compared to the previous data. So, we could say na possible na ito na yung pump na makukuha natin for the death cross. Baka ito na yung pump nangyari na. Possible na tapos na. Or, pwede ding ito pa yung pump. Pero I personally think para sa akin, ito na yung pump, tapos na yung pump, nangyari na. Kasi ayun yung bullish divergence and nakita mo yung pump, dumating na. And kung susundan natin tong next price action, this would cancel out the bullish divergence na kasi look at the RSI, hindi na siya, pag bumaba pa to lalo, mabibreak na yung trend ng RSI. So, I believe, tapos na yung pump, ito na yung pump for the bullish divergence and that cross pump. So, yeah, that's for the debt cross for now. And let's try to look at other data pa. Let's try to look at historical data on the debt cross. So, let's try to look at saan ba tayo bumaba noong debt cross. So, let me just refresh this chart and go back to that data. As you can see, noong debt cross na yon, we went down to this level and this level was actually the 50-week moving average. So let's try to look at the 50-week moving average. So let's change this to a weekly chart. And if you're going to look at this weekly chart, yung 50 moving average was actually the support of the previous death cross. So zoom in lang natin siya. So at this point, ito yung point na nagkaroon ng death cross. And then it was at this area kung saan tayo nagkaroon ng support after the death cross. So we can say na ito yung possible area na magiging support natin after the death cross and pag nag-dump tayo during the death cross. So, asan na ba yung area na to sa ating current data? So, let's look at that data sa ating current death cross. And let's try to look at it at the daily time frame. So, for the daily time frame, for the weekly time frame pala guys. So, for the weekly time frame tayo susunod dyan. And then we will be selecting the 50 moving average. And then let's try to use the logarithmic chart para mas maayos siya. So if you can see, the 50-week moving average is actually this yellow line. So this would indicate na ito yung possible lowest point natin during the death cross. So if I were you, I would start looking at this chart and I would follow this area kasi ito yung possible or more likely yung area na more likely magkakaroon ng support during this area. So kung pag-uusapan natin strategy-wise, I would set my buying orders at this level following the 50-week moving average. So, yun yung ating susundin natin dito guys, the 50-week moving average. So, ayan o, this level. So, sa ngayon, we are not yet at that area pa, pero we can still see this one play out. Kasi historically, this death cross took us around, tingnan natin kung ilang days, 55 days or roughly, this is actually 385 days or almost 1 year yung ating paghihintay dito. So this could take us 1 year. Pero if we are not going to include this coronavirus dump, which is yung lagi ko sinasabi na lagi ko in-exclude dahil marami siyang underlying factors, we could say na from this point of death cross up to this area, it would take us around 133 days, roughly 3 to 4 months, 3 to 5 months bago tayo magkaroon ng ulit ng pump to the upside. So it could take us that long for us to see na yung death cross maging ganong katagal sa ating market. So effect niya ganong katagal natin siya mararamdaman. And that actually makes sense kasi kung titingnan mo si weekly time frame, si MACD pa lang is kung titingnan mo siya, wala pa tayong cross na nagaganap. So this would indicate na possible pa tayong bumaba pa and more likely dito tayo ulit magkakaroon ng cross for the MACD. So pag nagkaroon tayo dyan ng cross, more likely this would indicate na baka marites pa nga natin talaga yung ating 50-week moving average. So yeah, it's a good thing to look at the weekly average at the weekly time frame from this point on if you want to enter a good position for the long term. So yeah, ayun no. RSI is also following that same structure. So we might get oversold once we go down below this RSI. So let's say bumaba pa tayo lalo. So possible na makuha natin itong area na to. And that would be around July to September. July, August. Ito actually is August 16. So if that's the case, we could actually expect more pump and dump weeks coming in. So yeah, normal lang naman yung pump and dump. And that's actually a good reaccumulation phase if kung tutuusin. And that would also take us into consideration na yung ating scenario that is happening ngayon is the reaccumulation phase scenario. And that's a good thing kasi remember, we don't mind a reaccumulation phase, and reaccumulation phase is an opportunity for us to buy more coins. So, yeah, strategy-wise, we would be buying at this 50-week moving average level, and that's around, sa ngayon, that is around 29,000. So, it could go up as the week goes by. So, habang tumatagal, you should be following your buy orders at this level, and that is around 31 to 34,000 US dollars. That's the best buying level as of now for this 50-week moving average. So, if may susundan tayo na level in buying area, ito talaga 50-week moving average that is around 30,000 to 34,000 US dollars. Best buying area. you could also make the case na yung best buying area din natin is this strong support level kasi makita mo ang lakas ng support natin at this red area. So you could make the case na diyan ka magba-buy in and make and consider na ito yung possible na pwedeng maging floor price kasi ilang beses tayo nagkaroon ng support at this area. So ayun, that's the strategy for the debt cross, and that's how we think we should be playing out this debt cross. We should follow the weekly moving average. We should be also looking at the previous and historical data on the weekly moving average, and we will try to understand on how long can we get this. Kasi if history is any indication, that's around 3 to 6 months. So patience is key in here. So if I were you, I would take this time to buy more coins talaga. I would be patient. I would not panic sell any of my position kasi if you are going to check this one out, we have a dot cross in history indicating na itong itong downward movement would be a good buy area. And for the long term, bigyan natin kayo ng update. Yung Bitcoin logarithmic growth curve na matagal na natin fina-follow. If you're going to look at this, we are still at the halfway point of the market cycle, and this level na to, itong level na pinagpe-play out natin ngayon sa ating logarithmic growth curve, the last time that we were here, we actually went up to the market cycle top after staying here for ilang months. And we could possibly see that one play out dito. We might play in this area for siguro around August hanggang August. And after that, saka lang tayo magkakaroon siguro ng market cycle top movement. So yeah, that's an area to watch out for, and hopefully maging maging opportunity to sa inyo at i-take into consideration nyo na ito yung best buying time talaga. Ako personally, I would buy at this area. So as long as tumatagal tayo dito, mag-accumulate ng more coins. Just as what the whales are doing. Mga whales, nag-accumulate lang din sila ng coins ngayon during this area. So yeah, things to consider din na kailangan nyo abangan siya. So yeah, that's Bitcoin. And let's try to look at Bitcoin for the short term. So just a quick update. So sa ngayon, we are still at this level for the Bitcoin price. As you can see, we were actually following this rising wedge, this falling wedge, and we actually went down from this falling wedge. Ayan o, bumaba tayo from this area. So we actually got this target by getting the height of this wedge and then putting it at the point of breakout. So nakuha natin itong target na to. So after that target, saka natin nakita na itong movement. Sa ngayon, medyo magulo pa siya yung movement ngayon. So hopefully, malalaman natin yung kanyang price action once we break this one. Pero if we break this strong support, we might actually see a movement to the downside up to this next support. So this is the next strongest support, which is around the 31K area. So 31.6K is actually a strong support in our previous movement. We could actually also make the case na ang pwede nating next target is this 33.5K US dollars if we break the 34K level. So ayun, if this breaks down, 33.5K and 31.6K are the next levels to watch out for. Let's talk about this for the midterm naman. So for the midterm, this is actually almost the same. So for the midterm, we were actually following this falling wedge, and we actually tried to break to the upside, and we did not get that volume na ating hinahanap. So no volume means a possible fake out, which yun nga nangyari nga. And we were actually following the smaller time frames in determining the possible bullish and bearish divergences. And we actually had a bearish divergence during this area. That's why we went down. So sa ngayon, we can still possibly play out this. And if we actually want to know what is the next resistance area, we might possibly try to go up and kailangan natin ma-break itong level na to. This resistance level. If hindi natin siya ma-break, we might possibly see a movement to the downside or a possible movement up to the next support and possibly mag-play out ng ganyan and then ma-break niya yung mga bawat support up until maabot natin yung 50-week moving average during this death cross movement. So that's a possible move for Bitcoin. Pero if we break to the upside, and let's say tinry niya i-retest tas na break niya to the upside, our big resistance talaga is the 41K. As you can see guys, we actually had that rejection at the 41K. And then let's look at the moving average. So sa moving average siya ngayon for the for the 4-hour time frame, ito siya. So ngayon medyo naiipit yung mga moving averages ngayon. So we might actually see a possible movement anytime soon. And since ngayon lang ulit natin na-retest si 200 moving average, tingnan mo to guys. The last time na naging gantong kasikip na yung ating moving average, this one, nagkaroon tayo ng big move to the downside. So this is actually this area is already getting dangerous na for this level. So if I were you, I would wait this one out muna and follow a DCA strategy just in case kung ano yung mangyari, at least alam natin yung possible movement. So that's for the midterm. Pero tandaan nyo guys, we are still long-term bullish. Yun nga, if you are going to look at our previous charts kanina, long-term pa naman bullish. And we are actually expecting a possible dump then to the 50-week moving average, indicating na yun yung movement for the death cross. So yeah, that's Bitcoin for the short term and mid-term. Let's now look at Ethereum naman. So for Ethereum, we have actually been following this ascending triangle and we actually broke to the downside. So we now broke this midterm triangle to the downside and ang technical target niya is actually the 1.7k, 1.8k. Pero it's also worth noting na if you're going to look at the daily time frame and if follow natin yung 200-week moving average, the 200-week moving average is actually the realistic target. So ayan no, we went down. Originally, this was the actual target, the 1.7k, which is in conjunction with the Ethereum price action, 200-day moving average. Pero as you can see, as the day goes by, tumataas yung ating moving average. So it's possible na baka umabot na siya at around 2,000 during the next few weeks. And in that case, our realistic target would go higher and baka umabot tayo ng ganyang movement for this Ethereum chart. Resistance naman dito is actually the 100-day moving average. And as you can see, na-break na natin yung 100-day moving average, which is this red line. So this is already a downward movement to the 200-day moving average. So yun yung kailangan nating abangan for Ethereum. That's for the midterm. Long-term bullish pa naman, of course, syempre. And let's try to look at Ethereum for the short term. Tingnan natin yung possible movement niya ngayon. So, Ethereum. And then, i-hide natin yung ibang moving average. So, previously, we have been following this rising wedge. So, we went down as predicted. Another rising wedge, we went down as predicted. And then this one, we were expecting actually a pump to the upside with this rising wedge, with this falling wedge. But instead, it broke down and it actually hit this target. So this is actually a movement calculated by getting the height of this falling wedge. And we went down to that area exactly. So ayan no, that's around 2138 to 139 level. And right now, we might possibly see a pump and dump movement around this area. So lagyan lang natin siya ng support and resistance line. So we might actually play around this area for quite a bit. Pero if let's say this continues to the upside, if this continues to the upside, guys, this could be a double bottom pattern. So if it's a double bottom pattern, this would mean na we are getting this neckline. And if we broke this neckline, we might actually see a movement to the upside of around 23 2,300 for the short term. Pero that's if ang nangyari kay Bitcoin is nag-pump. Pero let's say hindi siya gumalaw, this would invalidate this double bottom. Pero sa ngayon, what I personally think is magkakaroon siya ng pump and dump movement muna at this area for a quite time. Personally, I would buy more Ethereum at this level. As you know, guys, sobrang bullish ako kay Ethereum, and I have been stacking a lot of Ethereum for quite of time. So yeah, I actually have buy orders at 2.1k level and around another one at 2k level. So yeah, yun yung mga isa ko sa mga strategy that I've been doing during this debt cross movement. I've been buying more Ethereum and Bitcoin during this time. May nakita ko actually nagtanong, do you think it's better to buy more Bitcoin than other altcoins? For me, as long as pantay and nababalance out mo yung binibili mo such as Bitcoin and Ethereum or other altcoins, as long as meron kang Bitcoin na asset sa portfolio mo, I think that's fine. So, short answer, as long as you have Bitcoin, it's okay. You can buy any altcoins kasi either way, magko-pump naman din sila. As long as that's a good market, that's a good coin, that's a healthy coin na nasa top 10 market cap coin, I think aakyat siya talaga kasabay ng movement ni Bitcoin. So, yeah, if top 10 siya, top 10 coin, good performing coin, that's a good coin to buy, like such as Ethereum, Cardano, and other top 10 coins. So, hindi po ba possible head and shoulder yung pino-form sa weekly time frame? Sige, let's look at the weekly time frame for Bitcoin. Actually, may nagtanong nun, pero hindi ko mapansin yung head and shoulders ito sa Bitcoin. Or baka sa daily yung sinasabi nila. Ito. May iba nagsasabi na possible head and shoulders daw to. Either ito. Kung head and shoulders to, dapat kasi hindi niya itong level na to, dapat hindi siya nagkaroon ng ganyang movement eh. Or we can say na ito yung head and shoulders. Itong level na to. Ito. Ayan. Head and shoulders to. And then, sinasabi nila na possible na baka ito yung shoulders, head, and then shoulder. Ang problema ko dito, hindi masyado nag-touch itong head na to. So, yeah, medyo hindi ako masyadong confident dito sa head and shoulders na to. So, I don't think that's a really valid head and shoulders for me. Pero yeah, you could stay na that's a head and shoulders. Oh, inverse head and shoulders. Inverse head and shoulders siya, guys, actually. Yung weekly time frame na ano, this one. This head and shoulders. Actually, ito, nakita ko na to and para sa akin, di ako masyado naniniwala na this is a head and shoulders talaga. Kasi look at this head. Hindi naman, saan ka nakita ng ganyang head sa head and shoulders action? So, I don't think na that's a valid head and shoulders. Masyado siyang malaki. And yeah, if titingnan mo din, sobrang laki niya to be a head. And kung lalagyan natin siya ng itong movement na to, ibig sabihin bababa tayo up to around a very low level. So I don't think that's a possible head and shoulders. Nakita ko to actually sa mga Binance FB group page. So I don't think that's a possible head and shoulders. 1 hour time frame, boss, forming head and shoulders. So let's look at the 1 hour. For me guys, to be honest, masasabi ko lang talaga na head and shoulder siya if clear na clear siya dito. Pero sa ngayon, hindi masyado clear eh. So, if magka-charting tayo dito, parang masyadong hindi clear yung price action niya. So, I would not consider a realistic pattern dito ngayon kasi masyadong magulo siya ngayon. So, what I would suggest, if ganito yung mga cases natin, gantong scenario, and if you really want to swing trade into short-term positions, yung ating swing tradable positions is actually the support and resistance. So, I would set a resistance, ayan o, resistance, and then a support. So, yeah, those are the swing tradable positions, and then you could expect na pump and dump movement during at those area sa mga support and resistance. So, yeah, yun yung pwede natin tingnan. What's the projected price of Bitcoin and Ethereum pala if mag-market cycle top na? So, for Bitcoin, we are actually projecting 130K as of now kasi kung titingnan mo si logarithmic growth curve, the 130K as of now, actually 131K na. So, the 131K market cycle top has now started printing for the logarithmic growth curve, indicating na that's the maximum market cycle top. Pero personally, what I think would happen is around 120, 100K to 150K. And the more na dinedelay natin itong movement, possible na makita natin around 150 to 180K Bitcoin for the long term. And for Ethereum, the, yung nakita kong possible movement for Ethereum, possible market cycle top, I believe ginawan ko siya ng video, which is the Ethereum market cycle top something. Try natin siya ilagay dito sa compare. Ito yung ginamit kong comparison for Ethereum. My realistic price target is actually 5K to 7K kasi kung titingnan mo si Ethereum at the weekly chart, i-refresh lang natin siya. Ethereum at the weekly chart, and then let's use the logarithmic scale, and then let's try to draw a Fibonacci retracement up to this lowest point. If you're going to follow this one, you could see na aabot pa tayo ng 5K for Ethereum. That's a minimum and realistic target price for Ethereum. Pero if you're going to compare this with Bitcoin, the Bitcoin chart, you will actually notice that it's actually following the previous market cycle movement. Ayan guys, 2014 market cycle is actually replicated by Ethereum. Hence, noong 2014, ang market cycle top ni Bitcoin is around 1.2K. Ganun din nakuha natin kay Ethereum. So, if we are going to follow that same price action, that would mean na yung possible market cycle top ni Ethereum is this 18K level or possibly following this level, which is the 18,000 US dollars. So, possible market cycle top niya. For me, idealistic market cycle top siya. Ang realistic ko is 5K and then 7K. 7K to 10K is actually a good target then kasi if you're going to add a line in here, this area dito na kung saan naglaro si Bitcoin, and kung itatapat mo siya kay Ethereum, 9K is actually a good and realistic target market cycle top for Ethereum. So yeah, masyado pang maaga for Ethereum, and I think na tataas pa talaga siya ng malaki for Ethereum. That's why I've been buying more Ethereum and I've been heavily bullish kay Ethereum dahil nga Ethereum is replicating Bitcoin's previous movement. Normally, how long will it take po to reach market cycle top? Historical data suggests around 2 years. So, 2 years during a bull run. So, ayan 2 years siya dito. Halfway. Sa ngayon, nasa around 1 year pa lang tayo. So, we actually have 1 more year for this to play out. So 2022 market cycle, this could mean around the end of this year or around the bear months or early 2022. So as long as dinedelay natin, marami pa tayong time para umakit sa market cycle top. So ayun, take this time to accumulate talaga guys bago tayo umabot ng market cycle top kasi maaga pa tayo kung titingnan mo talaga lahat ng charts. Kung titingnan mo din si Pi Cycle Top Indicator, usually sa Pi Cycle Top, usually sa Pi Cycle Top Indicator, sinasabi niya dyan yung kung nag-cross si Pi Cycle Top, si itong dalawang moving average, if nag-cross sila, that would indicate the start of a bear market and that would mean na end na siya ng bull run. So, ayun no, kung titingnan mo sa 2014 market cycle, nagkaroon siya ng cross. That's why that started the end of the bull market. End ng bull market kaysa, pati din kay 2018, nagkaroon ng cross that would indicated na end ng bull run yun. And then last is actually, sa ngayon, we did not cross the Pi cycle top indicator, indicating na hindi pa tapos yung bull run for this market cycle. So, all good pa din tayo guys. Bullish pa din tayo for Bitcoin in the long term. Ayun o, wala tayong cross. So, this would mean na we could expect Bitcoin to still go up pa in the next few months. Sadyang correction phase lang talaga ngayon. It's that time of the year na mababa yung level natin. Can you do a quick midterm TA for Cardano? Sure, let's try to look at Cardano naman. So for Cardano, we have been actually following this midterm target of this descending triangle. So may video actually tayo dito following this ascending triangle. And if you're going to get this target, we would actually put this target at this from the top of the triangle up to the bottom and then ilagay natin sa point of breakout. Yung actual target talaga natin dito is around 1 US dollars. So, ginawa natin siya actually video 2 weeks ago regarding this movement. And we are still actually playing this one out. So, right now we are actually forming a support dito at this level. So, yeah, Cardano is forming a support. We might actually get a rebound in here or then rejected and then let's say goes up ulit. Pero yeah, sa ngayon, we are still playing at this support and resistance. Pero if we break this, we might actually go lower. And the lowest price na pwede nating abutin is following, just like Ethereum, the 200-day moving average, the 100-day moving average, and the 50-day. So, ito, if you are going to look at this closely, we have actually broken the 100-day moving average. But we might still get a support. Pwede pa tayong bumalik dito for the midterm. Pero if, let's say, we get rejected again, our next target is actually the 200-day moving average. And as the day goes by, just like Ethereum, the 200-day moving average is also going up day by day. So for the midterm, if let's say nag-decline to at na-reject ng 100-day moving average, the 200-day moving average is the best buying level for Ethereum. And that would range around $1 up to 1.1 if we are actually going to see the worst case scenario for Cardano. So ayun, 100-day moving average is the indicator and levels to watch out for. That's around the 1.3K and 1.45K. So you could actually set a DCA levels, DCA strategies at these levels. We could buy a portion ngayon. You could set another level at the 1.3, 1.2, and 1.1. So pwede tayo mag-set na mas maraming movement doon for maraming buy orders for those levels. Thanks for this. Just accumulate. We're going to the moon. Yeah. I've been accumulating more Bitcoin and ayoko ulitin yung pinagsisihan ko noon na during the coronavirus dump. Dito, nung time na yan, nawala yung hope ko for Bitcoin to be honest, pero nung tumaas siya, narealize ko na, oh, nadala lang ako na emotions nun kasi once in a lifetime lang nangyari yung coronavirus dump. And kung titingnan mo sa historical data, the coronavirus dump was actually, let's look at this trading view chart. The coronavirus dump was actually a good dump kasi we went down to the market cycle bottom and that's actually a good buying level. So ayun, ayoko pagsisihan na yung pag bumabagsak, yung bearish market, bearish sentiment, those actually are the best buying period talaga. Pero yeah, I've started Bitcoin and Ethereum noong 2017. Una kong bili with both coins. And nawala lang yung confidence ko nung coronavirus dump. Pero ngayon, no around early June last year, doon ako ulit nagkaroon ng confidence with the whole crypto market space talaga ulit. Pero yeah, tagal ko na dito and I'm hoping to see and actually I really want this to go lower pa muna and then possibly get that that movement na makakapag-buy tayo at the 50-week moving average at this area sa red line na to. Dito yung best buying chance talaga kasi titingnan mo, best buying level siya talaga during a dump at a bull market. So yeah, take this opportunity to buy during the 50-week moving average sa red lines. Sir, honest opinion, okay lang ba yung naisip ko na dahil mura ngayon yung altcoins, mag-invest ako long term ng mga altcoins until December to January? Balak ko check ulit para mas malaki kitain ko mga altcoins na okay na funds. Actually, hindi ganun siya guys. Kailangan nyo intindihin yung Bitcoin dominance. Let's say, tumaas si Bitcoin at this level at nakuha ni Bitcoin at every time na every other day si Bitcoin is nagpo-form ng all-time high. In that case, si Bitcoin dominance ay tumataas. Punta tayo sa Bitcoin dominance chart. So if tumataas si Bitcoin dominance, that would indicate, so ito si Bitcoin dominance. If tumataas si Bitcoin dominance, that would indicate mahina yung mga altcoins, hindi magpe-perform good yung mga altcoins, or in that case, wala kang gaanong profit for altcoins. Ito. So the reason why tumaas lahat yung altcoins noong past 3 months was because of this major dump. Ayan oh, nag-dump itong Bitcoin dominance. So that's why nakita nyo na tumaas lahat si altcoins. Mas malakas yung pump nila kaysa kay Bitcoin. Pero if you're going to look at historical data, hindi naman siya ganun palagi. Nagkataon lang talaga na ganun yung nangyari. Pero let's say dito ka nag-invest. This is actually the worst, not actually the best time to invest in altcoins kasi if you want to invest in altcoins, it's actually at this level kung saan si Bitcoin dominance ay sobrang taas. Pero sa ngayon nasa baba tayo sa Bitcoin dominance. Dapat 50-50 yung portion mo in allocating Bitcoin and altcoins. So dapat if you are really into altcoins talaga, as long as you have a portion of Bitcoin, I think that's okay. Basta wag mo lang kakalimutan na if this starts pumping, it would indicate the Bitcoin season talaga. So ayun, if gusto mo talaga mag-altcoins, you have to check this Bitcoin dominance talaga. And if you want to follow altcoins for the long term, just know na when's the good buying time kasi if it's a Bitcoin season, wala kang returns sa iyong altcoins masyado as compared to Bitcoin. Pero if let's say altcoin season, then actually that's a good time to invest in altcoins. So yeah, always look at the Bitcoin dominance if you want to invest in altcoins talaga. Personally, altcoins na pinag-investan ko ngayon is Cardano, Ethereum, and ano pa ba? BNB, Binance Coin, Litecoin, and Polkadot. Sila yung mga altcoins na pinag-investan ko kasi as mentioned before, as long as top 10 yung altcoins mo, I think that would still pump for during this bull run ni Bitcoin as long as hindi nasisira yung Bitcoin dominance. So yeah, that's Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano. We have seen those coins. Let's try to take a quick look at BNB naman. BNB is actually, I think previously that's the top 3 coin, pero I think it's now a top 4 or top 5. But yeah, let's look at the BNB chart and follow this 200 this bull market support band, which is 21 and 20, the 21-week EMA and 20-week moving average. If you are going to look at this, BNB is actually holding strong at its bull market support band. So what this would mean na as long as above the 21-week EMA tayo or the red line, we are still considered bullish kay BNB. But if we break this, only then we are going to see a better sentiment for a quite of time kasi the bull market support band is always being held by this 21-week EMA. So, ayun. And let's try to look at other coins naman. Let's try to look at other time frames din for BNB. So for BNB, let's try to look at the short term for the immediate short term. So sa ngayon, let's try to look at the 20, 50, and 100, 200 day. So sa ngayon, BNB has broken down below the 100-day moving average, indicating na we might actually play around this area for BNB. So since we broke this level, we might actually play around this level up to the 200-day moving average. So ito yung palaging important levels for the daily time frame, the 200-day moving average. So if this continues, we could actually see a possible rebound at this 200-day moving average. And if we are going to get a pump, expect a possible rejection at the 100-day moving average. So only if we break this 100-day moving average are we going to see a pump to the upside for PNB. Pero sa ngayon, hindi pa natin na-break itong 100-day and we are actually below the 100-day. Kung titingnan mo, ayan no, we are moving down to the 200-day moving average. So we might actually see a possible consolidation period muna dito hanggang sa maabutan natin itong 200-day moving average. And that could take a quite of time kasi kung titingnan mo to, possible na mag-play out siya ng ganyan up to na maabutan itong level ni 200-day moving average. And that's fine kasi if you are going to correlate this with Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other coins, it's actually doing the same movement then. So catching up with the 200-day moving average is not actually bad. That's a good thing kasi that would indicate na we are getting that momentum na we should be having before getting a pump. So ayun. Sir, may silbi ba ang TA ng altcoins now if Bitcoin season naman kasi sinusundan niya lang si BTC? Actually, Well, may silbi lang siya if nasa top 10 coins ka. Ang pagtitiin nyo kasi guys, first is Bitcoin, and then the Bitcoin dominance, and then if you want to check the altcoins, yung mga top market cap coins is yung mga kailangan nyo tingnan. So, kung para makalaman yung mga top 10 market cap coins, you should look at this. Actually, makikita nyo naman siya kagad dito, top 10 market cap coins. So, ayun, coin market cap. You could see na alin yung mga top 10 coins. Ayan, o. So, ayan. And we actually have been following these coins for a quite of time, such as Ethereum. So, so yung mga gantong coins, yung mga possible na pwede mong ETA dyan is actually the support and resistance area. Kasi kung titingnan mo, historically, remember na we always base on historical data, the historical movement ng coin would be the best buying opportunities and buying levels, and that's where we are actually we are where we might possibly get a support and resistance. So kung let's go back at the daily time frame and then buksan natin yung moving averages. So if you're going to look back in history, the 100-day moving average is actually a support for Ethereum. So ayan o, we are actually trying to get bounces dito. So ayan o, bounce 1, bounce 2, bounce 3. We are actually getting those bounces. And now, if ma-break, ito nagkakaroon tayo ng bounce dito for Ethereum. And pag na-break natin siya, yung next support na abangan talaga natin is the 200-day moving average. So if you're going to ask me na kung ano yung mga TA na okay for altcoins, I possibly think it's the moving averages. Doon ka lang mas okay na pwedeng makafollow ng support and resistances. Same goes with following the historical support and resistances kasi makikita mo dito. Try to look at this at the 4-hour time frame. I-hide natin yung moving average. Tingnan nyo to guys. Yung support and resistance niya will actually be following the previous support and resistance. Ayan no. Medyo magulo na yung chart kasi fina-follow natin siya dati pa matagal dito. So, ayun. The support and resistances would be the best things to look out for. And tingnan mo, nagkaroon actually tayo ng support dito sa previous support natin sa previous movement noong, I think that's around February. So yung support natin ng February, naging support din natin ngayon. Yung resistance noong February, naging resistance din ngayon. Hence, itong mga support and resistances are the good things to watch out for. Pero yeah, basically, Bitcoin pa din, dependent sila kay Bitcoin. So as long as Bitcoin is consolidating, I think that's the window area for altcoins talaga. And as long as the Bitcoin dominance is dumping, only then we will see a good movement for altcoins. XRP. Okay, let's try to take a quick look at XRP naman. So for XRP, yeah, same goes yung support and resistances. Pero for XRP, ang fina-follow natin dito is actually itong Fibonacci. Yung Fibonacci na ginawa ko noong January pa, yun pa din yung fina-follow ko hanggang ngayon. And if you're going to look at this closely, this Fibonacci retracement is actually following exactly as how it should play. Titingnan mo, may mga resistance tayo dito sa Fibonacci. And then ito yung support na ating inaabangan. Nung na-break siya, saka siya nag-play at this Fibonacci levels. Itong levels na to. And then right now, if we break this Fibonacci level, this next Fibonacci level, we might possibly play around this area at around 0.6 up to 0.77 if ma-break natin tong Fibonacci level. Kasi kung titingnan mo, the Fibonacci levels are the good areas to watch out for. So let's go back in time. Makita mo na Yung Fibonacci levels talaga ang sinusundan nitong XRP. Ayan o. So makita mo na may resistance dito, another resistance. And if you want to know how to follow the Fibonacci retracement, how to use Fibonacci retracement, you could actually watch my other video, which is how how to draw a Fibonacci retracement. Nandito din sa YouTube, so you could check that one out. So historically, is it always alt season after the Bitcoin season? Not all the time actually. Kasi kung titingnan mo, let's try to look at Bitcoin ulit. May window area siya kasi guys kung saan nagiging altcoin season. And that window area is during ipakita lang natin. Let's go to the weekly time frame and then select. Dito tayo sa sa Binance chart, weekly time frame, and then the 21-week EMA. You would actually see an altcoin season only if the level, if the Bitcoin level is consolidating. So, kung titingnan mo to, itong window area na to, diyan ka makakita ng altcoin season. Itong window area na to, diyan din yung magkakaroon ng altcoin season. And that's why we actually saw an altcoin season dito sa area na to. So, when Bitcoin is consolidating, that is where we can possibly see an altcoin season. So, ito din, altcoin season din to, noong January. Ito yung nag-pump, January to February, ito yung nag-pump ng halos 1,000% si Dogecoin. It was actually this time. Ayan o. So, as long as the Bitcoin price is playing around above the 21-week EMA, above the 21-week EMA, and consolidating above the 21-week EMA, only then we can see an altcoin season. So, yun yung window area niya. Sa ngayon, itong window area natin dito kay altcoins for Bitcoin is wala tayo sa altcoin area na window. So, hindi pa dito yung altcoin season nating inaabangan. So, yeah, dun yung kailangan i-check kung saan ba magkakaroon ng altcoin season, which is above the 21-week EMA and when Bitcoin is consolidating. So, look for that areas in the future. Ayan no, yung mga consolidation area during a bull market. And that goes the same for Ethereum, Cardano. Yung mga window area na yun yung mga yun yung mga good movement for altcoins. May mga nagpa-pump din ba ng altcoins pag Bitcoin season? Kaya nag-TA pa din tayo ng altcoin season kahit Bitcoin season? Yup, meron. So if you're going to look at Cardano, Cardano is actually a good example. So let's try to look at the daily chart ulit and then let's follow the logarithmic chart. So during this time, ito, February 1, you can see na Cardano pump 183% from that time. And let's see what happened to Bitcoin. So for Bitcoin during the February time, ito. During the February period, let's try to look at this at the trading view chart para mas malinis muna. Ito guys, February was actually the pump for Bitcoin. And as you can see, since si Cardano is one of the top 10 coin, there are times na may mga altcoins, if they are a good performing coin, saka sila magpa-pump. And one of them is Cardano. If you're going to look at this, Cardano also went up in conjunction to Bitcoin. So yeah, If may mga yung question mo may nagpa-pump pa din ng altcoins during a Bitcoin season, yup, meron pa din. Kaya tayo nagti-TA pa din. So, yeah, as long as nasa top 10 siya or that's a good performing coin, we can still see a pump for altcoin during a Bitcoin season as long as good performing siya. So, ayun. And then, ano pa ba? Tingnan natin. The, may times ba hindi nagpa-pump si altcoin if, let's say, nagpa-pump si Bitcoin? Yup. Let's look at Ethereum naman. So, I think it's around February. Look at this, guys. Hindi nag-pump si Ethereum during this period, February 1 up to this February 14 area, 16, 14 to 15 days. This was actually the same period kung kailan nag-pump si Bitcoin. So look at this. Bit since Bitcoin dominance is going up, it means mahina ang altcoins. So wala tayong makikitang masyadong pump for altcoins. So nag-pump si Bitcoin diyan, nakita mo nag-pump siya. But look at Ethereum. Ka Ethereum, at this time, hindi siya nag-pump kasabay ni Bitcoin. So si Ethereum nag-pump lang siya at around 22% as compared to Bitcoin nag-pump ng 57, almost 60% kay Bitcoin. So same time period, pero Bitcoin dominance is going up, mas nag-pump si Bitcoin kaysa kay Ethereum. Pero since Cardano is also a good performing coin during that time, good performing coin si Cardano, that would mean a Cardano move, a Cardano pump is also possible. Kasi if you're going to, kung finalo nyo to guys noon, meron tayo dyang ascending triangle din kay Cardano. And then nung nag-break siya to the upside, saka natin nakuha yung movement niya. So kaya nagtitiip pa din tayo for altcoins talaga. Kasi possible pa din siya mag-play out. So ayun no, same time frame. Pero this time, Cardano pump around 150% or if follow mo yung pinakang lowest point niya noong February 1, 184%. So yeah, possible pa din na mag-pump during a Bitcoin season as long as good performing coin. So i-clear out lang natin siya and then let's try to go back to Bitcoin at the short term kasi mag I believe it's the 4-hour candle close na. So remember, ang basis natin dito sa pag-chart natin is historical data and other indicators na ginagamit natin in confluent with other data and indicators talaga. So let's look at Bitcoin in the early time frame. So yeah, as mentioned before, I'm expecting Bitcoin to play around this area muna at this support and resistance and possibly at this level pa. And if we break the 34K support, only then we can see a possible move to the downside up to the 33.5K. So 34K is a big support. So yun yung kailangan natin abangan. And if sa 4-hour time frame, if sa 4-hour time frame nagkaroon ng rejection at the 100 moving average, kasi kung tingnan mo, yung mga moving average natin ngayon is getting tight for the 4-hour time frame. And the last time na naging ganong ka-tight yung kanyang moving average, nagkaroon tayo ng big move, which is, ito naman, move to the downside. So, yeah, we are about to get that possible squeeze dito sa moving average. Hence, we might see a movement to the downside, either to the downside or to the upside for the 4-hour time frame. Pero if you're going to follow the death cross, you might actually see a possible dump if ma-squeeze na to anytime soon. So, ayun na, dikit-dikit na yung moving averages natin. So if nagmamadali ka sa ROI mo and balit lang capital mo, in your experience, would you recommend to buy altcoins now dahil cheap or still buy Bitcoin muna? Actually, nagkaroon ako na experience noon na ang paniniwala ko noon is mas mura. If mas mura ang altcoins, saka ako replace ko siya. Naniniwala ako noon dati na mas okay bumili ng mas mura na altcoins. Kasi ang paniniwala ko noon na pag tumaas siya, mas malaki ang percentage increase niya. Which is actually not true. Kasi the performance of the movement of the coin would be dependent on the Bitcoin performance. So, let's say nag-pump si Bitcoin for 50% in 1 month. And then si Ethereum, hindi siya akala mo magpa-pump din si Ethereum for a higher movement kasi mas mura si Ethereum. Pero kung titingnan mo si Bitcoin dominance, let's say tiningnan mo nun si Bitcoin dominance, hindi nag-pump. Let's say nag-pump si Bitcoin dominance, umakit si Bitcoin dominance. Naging ganito yung movement ni dominance. Do you think magpa-pump si Ethereum nun na ganyang kalaki as compared to Bitcoin? I don't think so. Nang experience ko nun, nakita ko na si Bitcoin tumaas siya kailan ba yun? From $20,000 nung time na last year around December. Nakita ko, tinry ko siya isundan kay Ethereum. Mas nag-pump si Bitcoin higher kaysa kay Ethereum. So to answer your question, if nagmamadali ka and mas okay ba na sa altcoins ka bumili kaysa kay Bitcoin? I don't think so. Dapat balance yung iyong pagpabay. If you want to buy in altcoins talaga, 50% siguro Bitcoin, 50% altcoins. As long as meron kang Bitcoin, I think you're in a good position kasi if either isa sa kanila mag-pump, at least nasa position ka regardless kung ano yung maging price action. So yeah, 50-50 Bitcoin and altcoins talaga para hindi ka para regardless kung alin dun yung mag-pump, yun yung nakaposisyon ka pa din talaga. Pero if let's say kaya mo mag-trade ng short term, pwede mo naman actually ilipat yung Bitcoin mo to altcoins. If ever na magkaroon ng altcoin season, pwede mo ipalit. So, kaya tayo may BTC pairing, ito. This one pala. Ayan no. If nag-pumps itong Ethereum to Bitcoin dominance, only then we will see a pump with Ethereum. So, if nagkaroon tayo ng support or bumagsak sa support, I think that's the best buying time for Ethereum. So if you really want to trade in altcoins during a Bitcoin season, ito yung follow nyo, yung kanyang Bitcoin chart niya. So yeah, follow nyo palagi yung mga Bitcoin pairing ng mga chart. Kasi doon nyo malalaman yung magiging movement ng altcoins. So ito, nakita natin na bumagsak si Ethereum to Bitcoin, hence, mas malakas yung pagbagsak ni Ethereum as compared to Bitcoin. That's why noong nag-dump si Bitcoin sundan natin balikan natin tong time, itong movement na to. Ito, nung nag-dump si Bitcoin ng around 45%, 45% dump, tingnan mo yung dump niya kay Ethereum. Yung dump kay Ethereum was around 60% at the same time frame. Kasi bumagsak nga si Ethereum to Bitcoin dominance with around 20%. So yung dump ni Bitcoin 45% plus dump ng Bitcoin dominance 20%, so 45 plus, so let's say 40 plus 20, that's equivalent to Ethereum drop of 60%, which yun nga nakuha natin, 60% drop kay Ethereum. So yun yung kailangan nyo palagi i-check, the Bitcoin pairing, if gusto nyo mag-trade in with altcoins during a Bitcoin season. Anong analysis nyo kay Doge? Pareho sila ng galon di Bitcoin by chart. May chance ba kaya na lumipad? ayoko yung term na lumipad, basically. Pero, if let's say magpa-pump siya, meron pa din siya talagang chance talaga. Kasi, remember, if napunta si Bitcoin sa kanyang altcoin season window niya, doon tayo makita ng pump for any altcoins actually. Sa- Kasama na dun si Doge, kasama na si, kahit sabi mo pa si Shiba Inu, basta nandun tayo sa isang altcoin season window, saka tayo makita ng altcoin pumps such as Dogecoin. So, that goes the same for all altcoins naman, regardless kung meme coin yan or legit coin siya. As long as sa altcoin season window tayo, magpapump pa din siya. Parehas sila ng galaw ni Bitcoin by chart, si Dogecoin. Sige, tingnan natin si Dogecoin ngayon. So, let's try to look Dogecoin at the US dollar movement muna. So, for the US dollar, ang personally fina-follow ko dito is the Fibonacci. Kasi kung titingnan mo siya, the Fibonacci levels are actually playing a good support and resistance area dito kay Dogecoin. So, tingnan mo, ito nag-act siya as support. Ito, nag-act as support. Pero na-breakdown, ito yung next support. Ito naman, resistance. Fibonacci retracement yung magandang sundan for Dogecoin if I were you. So, yeah, ayun. Possible pa ba mag-pump si Dogecoin? Yup, possible pa din. Kasi, if napunta si Bitcoin sa window ng altcoin season, only then we will see a pump for any coins such as Dogecoin. So, for Dogecoin, ang nakita natin is, ito yung possible support niya ngayon. So, if break natin to, ang next support talaga natin is itong 0.27 cents na level. So, yun yung ating next na i-follow for Dogecoin. And if you want to know kung ano ba yung magiging movement niya for the long term, I think it's good to follow the Fibonacci kasi kung titingnan mo, yung historical data ni Dogecoin ay nagiging dependent kay Fibonacci. Ito pa, bigyan natin kayo ng isang example pa. So, ayun na, puro Fibonacci sila guys. Itong resistance na to, yun yung naging support niya dito. Naging support sa next pump ni Dogecoin. Yung pinakang top ng Fibonacci retracement. Tingnan nyo guys, yun yung naging support niya. Same goes dito sa next Fibonacci retracement. Yun din yung naging support natin for the next pump. So, what does this mean? If you want to follow Dogecoin, I think Fibonacci retracement would be the best thing to follow for Dogecoin talaga. Anyway, let's end this video now since napasada naman natin na si Bitcoin and its death cross. So, let's go back and summarize this video. So, our best strategy for death cross is by following the 50-week moving average. So, the 50-week moving average would be the best buying level kasi kung titingnan mo, let's go back to the Bitcoin to USD chart. And then, ito, reset chart. Ito ha, nung time na nagkaroon ng death cross, itong level na to, yung support na yan, is actually the 50-week moving average. Ayan o. Ito yung 50-week moving average, yun yung naging support for the death cross. So, ayan yung support for the death cross. And then, dito, wala pa tayo dun sa support na yun. So, if you want to get into Bitcoin, what I would suggest is buy during these areas around 31K up to 30K up to 35K. Those are the best buying areas for the Bitcoin during the debt cross. And itong 50-week moving average would be the best levels in buying for Bitcoin. Kasi if historical data is an indication, the 50-week moving average is a strong support. Ayan no, pati sa previous bull market natin, 50-week moving average is a strong support talaga. So if you find this video useful, guys, please give this video a like. And if you want to see more videos like this, and if you want to see more signals like this, you can follow our Facebook, Telegram, Twitter, and Discord group. Link is in the description below. And guys, si Binance din ay merong and call for Binance Influencer Awards nomination. So if you want to nominate me, guys, and if you find my videos informative and useful, you can nominate me. So dito sa ating Binance Influencer of the Year, you can actually type my name, Tristan Gab or Gab's Crypto, Tristan Bal, or kung ano man. Pero what I would suggest, either Tristan Bal or Gab's Crypto, Asia Pacific, and then yung account, lagay nyo lang yung YouTube channel ko if you want. And kayo, lagay nyo dito kung bakit nyo ako gusto i-nominate. Kung gusto nyo ako i-nominate talaga. And Twitter is actually ito, yung nakalagay dito guys, which is at Tristan Bal. So, and guys, so if you want to nominate me in the Binance Influencer of the Year, you can do so. I have put the link for this form at the description down below. So yeah, I think that's it for this video. If you find this video a like, if you find this video useful, please give this video a like. And if you want to see more contents like this, please subscribe for more. And I'll see you in the next video. So bye bye for now.